Thank you. My name is Remco Bloemen. It's a wonderful opportunity to be on this stage with all these amazing people around me. My passion is, as Stuart said, technology. How did that come to be? We need to go one step back and look at science first, because that's how it all started. I was looking for truth when I was young, and the only place where you can really find that is in the laws of nature. Um, like, those laws really matter. They're unchangeable. They will affect us for eternity. Geen pijl can try and hold a referendum on the conservation of Mars, and we can all be against it, but nothing is going to happen. Resources will still run out. Like, we need to realize that these laws are impenetrable barriers for us as a society, and that's why I find it so important to study and understand them well. And I've been blessed with the opportunity to do so in Cambridge, where I did mathematical physics. And while studying these laws, I actually realized that they're quite benevolent. They have so much unexplored opportunity in them. There is so much within what is allowed by nature that we can do. There is nothing in the laws of nature that prevent us from living forever. Basically, we can cure any disease that we can find one by one, reverse processes of aging, and live 10 more years, 100 more years, 1,000 more years. We can travel to the moon. We've done so already. We can travel to planets. We can explore and conquer the universe if we so desire. Now I'm actually already moving to the gospel of techno-positivism. So after Cambridge, I got invited to go to Silicon Valley to study high-tech entrepreneurship there. Now, Silicon Valley is the epicenter of techno-positivism right now, singularitarianism. What it all means is that these people really work hard and believe and put a lot of effort into realizing these ridiculously out there dreams. I've met people that are signed up for programs to have their brains cryogenically frozen when they die, so that a future society can revive them and cure whatever killed them. And actually, friends of me signed up for it. I haven't yet, so like, you need to do it with me right now. But still, it's fascinating. So another thing that strikes me about the laws of nature is that they're completely amoral. They're neutral. They don't judge. There's nothing in there that will guide to a good direction. And that is also a thing that you see happening in the tech entrepreneurship scene. Technology is being developed, being guided mostly by, first, what is possible, and second, what is economically profitable. Very few actually put a lot of effort into what is desirable for a society on the long term. And the reasons for that are simply how our world is currently organized. Now, after I came back, I started my own company. Actually, I did that before already. It's in cybersecurity. I had this dream of technology enabling people to work together, and I was not too happy with the current way it's going, with the cloud and everything in central locations and big corporations controlling all this information. So I wanted to do it in a way that didn't require big corporations. That company, and it's what I'm still doing. It's interesting that you need a lot of cryptography and things to make that work. And it's interesting that in that world, since then we've had the Snowden revelations. I've had the opportunity to talk with Europol and Interpol and those places to see what they're doing. And it made me so sad what I saw there. There is, again, it's like an amoral system. They just do whatever is possible. There were no checks and bounds, no controls. They just... So I started reading up on digital nomadism, which is this concept of basically escaping from wherever you are right now, traveling the world, working remotely. And I started traveling. I went to Asia first and basically went through the major cities everywhere, just looking for the innovative hubs. Basically, in every single city on this planet right now that has more than 1 million people, which is no city in the Netherlands, but believe me, there's many of them in the world. You can find a co-working space that has Wi-Fi and coffee and a big rich community of people that all think alike and all have this techno-positivist dream, all have this ideal of contributing something to the world. You'll find many people who did not have any form of formal education but just went online, educated themselves, and are now world-class programmers, building all these amazing systems. I even went to one of the largest slums on the planet in Mumbai, and even there I saw youth with smartphones being online, being on Facebook, being able to communicate, being able to innovate. Now this community of innovative young leaders around the world that have this globally shared mindset, that exchange information, that are so passionate about just building something cool that helps people. They don't have any, they're not out there to become rich, become the next Bill Gates or whatever. They just want to make cool stuff and help people with it. Yet it is so hard for them to do this in the way that we organize society right now. Many people I know that would love to work full-time on their projects. And I'm talking about open source projects that are used by the major banks for their encryption. Actually, a funny story, you might have heard of Heartbleed, one of the big technology security scandals that happened. That was actually a fault in a component that 80% of the internet used for its security, including your online banking systems, I guarantee you, it was developed by 2 people. Unpaid. This is how our world is organized right now, and I'm wondering if we can, like, my call to action is this, how do we rethink this? How do we organize society in a way that we can have these innovators work and contribute to the world and not have to be afraid of intellectual property laws, have to be afraid of patents that might be overly generic and sue them, like owning the devices that they bought. Like, we need to rethink these things. Ownership is another interesting thing while studying the laws of physics. Like you can read the laws. There's nothing in there about ownership. It's a completely artificial concept, and it works well, reasonably well for material goods. But as soon as you go to the digital domain, it becomes really, really irky. Ideas want to be free. They spread. Information spreads. It's really hard to contain. And this is something that our generation will have to face. Like, what is the meaning of ownership? For example, when we have cars now that are getting increasingly more complex and start to become computers themselves, the car manufacturers will actually be able to monitor where you're driving and how your car is doing, and they can actually shut down your car remotely. Who owns the car at this point? Same thing with phones. You're not allowed to put anything on an iPhone that Apple has not approved. Do you still own your phone? Well, most users would argue, yes, they can do pretty much anything they want. But an innovator will say, no, I cannot build a new app without Apple's approval. And there have been cases of politically controversial apps that have been kicked out of the App Store because Apple didn't allow it. So who owns your phone? So yeah, my call to action is, how are we going to rethink these concepts? Thank you.